There we go. All right. All right. Welcome everybody to the February Zoom critique meeting for cold. I thought it was kind of a fun topic when I finally, got down to do it. So, housekeeping. In 2 weeks, in person at RPAC is the rescheduled speed learning. So don't miss it. That should be pretty good. So that's 2 weeks from now, whatever Wednesday date, March 9th. That's it, March 9th. And then 2 weeks after that will be the next critique meeting, which would be March 23rd. And that challenge, as a reminder, is, how did we word it?
No.
Personal projects?
Personal projects. Yeah, so 2 images. Okay, sorry, Monique, that sucks. Yeah, so personal projects. So 2 images that, consider them like a start to some sort of a personal project. And think about what Mark talked about, having access to whatever your topic is. It's something that means something to you, and try and start telling a story, and maybe it does turn into a bigger project for you. Anybody I've talked to who's taken on personal projects, that's when you see the most growth because you're doing it a lot. So, so that's that. We're still looking for a speaker for April, or something for April. So we don't know that yet. Once we do have something nailed down, we'll let you know. The April challenge, should have that up in front of me, and I do not. I cannot minimize Zoom. That's not handy. Hold on 1 second, guys. I have this here.
Wait, you want to know
what the April challenge is. So, the April challenge is the personal projects. Yeah, and then, yeah, okay.
What was
we announced it? We announced it 2 weeks ago, so that sort of tripped me up a little bit.
right?
Yeah, so the April challenge is that personal projects that we were just talking about.
For March 23rd.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, so that's the March challenge. Yeah.
March challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was right.
Yeah.
Hold on, we do have that.
So I
This
think
stuff
that
is
you
all-
can think of it as a project that you might already be working on or have been working on or wanted to elaborate on as well.
So it is something that you could have already started,
Sure.
even though it doesn't fall within the,
If it's a personal project, yeah. I mean, if it's something you're working on, that would be great to submit a couple just as an example of, what you've been doing. Maybe try and create a new one and add to it in the meantime. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, if you're already working on something, it'd be great to see it. Yeah, and then in May we have Corey Kane coming. Corey Kane coming in May. Not exactly sure if he's going to talk about landscaping or landscape photography or bird photography. He's sort of a master of both. But he's confirmed to be here. So one way or the other, we'll have Corey Kane here talking about that. And then in June at RPAC, we're doing something that we're calling Back to Basics. So we're discussing exposure triangle, basic composition, some of this stuff that we get a lot of questions about. So I encourage anybody who feels like they know the exposure triangle, come anyways. It's always good to get a refresher, never hurts. And if you have a friend or somebody who this might benefit, bring them. It's open door for the meeting. So if you know someone who you think has maybe asked you about some of this stuff in the past, or you think would benefit from learning, the exposure triangle and some examples, and yeah, bring them along. I think it'd be great. And then just booked. That's why I got tripped up with the name. So Charles Cormier. Charles Cormier is booked for September, and he's going to be talking. So do you guys know Charles Cormier? You follow him on Facebook? Yeah, he's great. He's a fantastic photographer, but a lot of you guys probably don't know that he's the official photographer for Haunted Overload down in Lee. And so since we're sort of talking about storytelling and photography for the winter show, he's going to come in, and instead of showing you landscapes or the moon and some of this other stuff he's known for, he's going to talk about how he tells the story of Haunted Overload through his images. And I've seen some of the photos that he creates for Haunted Overload, and they're just amazing. The guy he covers the event really well. The photos are really artistic and beautiful. So that's coming up. That'll be sort of like our first meeting after the summer break in September. 14th, I think it is. Not that that matters right this instant. So yeah, that's what we have for you. So we're still filling out the calendar as we go. So if you have any ideas for challenges, especially in the fall, or speakers or topics you want to see covered, let us know. We'll try and make it happen. We still have October and November to book.
I'm still
So.
confused about March and April because both
Yeah, I
of
don't
them.
think he said that.
March
Yeah,
is speed
personal
learning, so that's the
project.
next meeting. All right, so
Okay.
March
Do
9th
we have
is
a
speed learning.
challenge?
The March 23rd challenge is the personal projects.
So what's
So
the
what is
April
April?
challenge?
The April challenge, I don't have in front of me. And I think Monique, nope, I thought maybe you were typing, everybody. I don't have it right in front of me. So I will announce it
Okay.
for.
What's Monique saying?
Well, she's our note taker, so she might have them right in front of her.
Well, she was just saying
Um,
something, but nobody
our-
can hear her.
Our April challenge is orange.
She's working on it.
Oh, the
She's
color
working on
orange.
that.
Orange?
Yep, the color orange for April.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll,
as-
I'll post it as an event, probably tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Asina. And Monique, if you just can't talk, then I assume you're looking it up.
Hey, Monique, you could try sign language.
Yeah, that's not sign language. I shouldn't do that.
Messages that the mic no longer works
Hey!
underwater.
I
would
know
have
that
been
one.
better.
I knew that one real well.
That's the English accent. So yeah, color orange for April. That should be fun. As usual, just interpret that however you want. Just incorporate the color orange as a primary color in your shot. That's pretty much it. All right, so I think that's it for housekeeping. If anything else does come up in the meantime, that we'll get that out to you guys. So that means that we're going to get right into this. I'm going to share my screen.
Well, Monique posted, welcome Lisa. She is our,
Oh,
she
right.
is on our outing crew now.
Yes.
Did you
So
want to say that?
Lisa is now, so we had
Congratulations,
two
Lisa.
people, essentially apply or make their interest known in being on the outings team. It was Lisa and Shelly. And Shelly emailed and just took her name out of it. So, at that point, there's no reason to keep voting because Lisa's, so Lisa is now on the outings committee. She's part of our leadership team. So inundate her with congratulations and with, wants and needs because she doesn't know what she signed up for.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm joking. It's very little actually. So
It's a lot more fun than it is difficult.
yeah, and we incorporate beer as often as possible in the leadership team. So
It's true.
And there's enough people picking up your own pieces that it's fine.
yeah. All right. So we're going to share the screen, bring up some Lightroom. You guys can see that
Nope.
Nope.
Yep,
Now
there
we
it is.
can.
now? Okay. All right. So first up, we're going to make Asina go first. And that's our full screen there.
Is it
Was
cold?
this in Wells,
This was in Hampton.
Hampton?
Salisbury? Salisbury, maybe. I can't remember. I went to two places.
Was
Can I
it
ask you a
snowing?
question? Just
Yes.
looking at the settings. ISO 10,000 and 1/10 of a second. Handheld?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks slightly out of
It's
focus.
just, yeah, it's not sharp.
Is
I
it
don't
not
think
sharp,
getting
or
sharp
do you
is
use a
necessary.
filter on that? Do you use like a painting?
Oh, did you put a painting
No.
filter over the top, or is that motion blur from being handheld at 1/10?
Yes.
Right.
There's no filter.
I mean, it almost,
It's
I think that's why.
I was gonna
That's
say
why
it
I
works a bit
picked-
as like an artistic sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like a watercolor.
That's kind of why I kept going back to it, because I knew that it wasn't the best photo if you're going with a photo, but I loved how painterly it was.
Yep.
Definitely has that effect. to it.
So even though it wasn't crisp, it wasn't, I love the composition. I thought that it was just interesting because it was snowing at the same time. So it just looked like it was a whole bunch of brush strokes. And so it just kind of came up.
You know, it's
Kinda
funny.
like
It's
more like a painting.
it almost seems like the motion blur, the direction of the motion blur goes with the snowflakes. So the snowflakes end up sharper than everything else.
Mhm.
Like you sort of panned the snowflakes in a way.
Which is sometimes the
it's interesting.
that's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest difficulties, especially shooting the snow, because it will try to focus on that. Because sometimes it's a high contrast portion, so it focuses on the snow and not what you're trying to. I love the little line. I like the leading into it. There's a couple sensor spots up there, so those should definitely go,
Mhm.
or clean the sensor. And then I'm wondering if we just crop off that upper gray portion, because I don't know if that's helping, because we got that building-ish thing in the upper right-hand corner, which is kind of distracting from the rest of the very nice landscape image we have.
Something like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
I'd go that far.
maybe a little bit more, maybe just a little bit of the sky, but I would try to get rid of the building that's on the right-hand upper corner.
Is that what it is? Is it a building? Those two squares?
Yeah, that's what it looks
It's
like.
probably a house, yeah.
Yeah, I might
If you
just
were
get that out
to,
of there.
I wonder if you
if-
also
yeah,
brought it
bring
in
the
this way.
bottom up to get it more into the rule of thirds
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Along those lines.
and
That's
shift
what-
it over to center of that post.
Which one? Like this one?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit to the left.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely
'cause it's-
definitely brings the focus a little bit more, and it just
yeah, because I just think that this, I mean, the gray sky's not bad. It's just that building in the upper right kind of pulls my eye towards it a little bit. I almost like want to leave some of the gray sky, because then the gray is not the bright, like the white in the background super bright, so it brings me up a little bit. But again, I mean, I do like the painterly effect to this. I think it actually does kind of work to it, even though may not be what you had desired in the beginning, but it's kind of unique.
By cropping it that much, it takes the angle of the boardwalk away, because there were two angles on each side and I kind of miss those.
Yeah, I agree.
so maybe you lose
Yeah. I mean,
maybe you
I
lose the
would
one
rather
to
see
one.
cropping out the building than shrinking it
crop
down
this
too
way.
much.
I don't think I'd even
Yeah.
crop the building out. You can just clean it up with the
tool, like a
tool, whatever it
heat-
is called.
spot
Yeah.
removal. In Photoshop, you could
remover,
just remove
that's
it.
it.
Yeah.
You could do it in
Yeah.
Photoshop, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it in Photoshop.
But I like the gray sky's nice. It's just that building, I think, is one thing that just a little distracted to me.
I think you need the
Yeah,
sky.
now that you've pointed it out, I just keep going right back to it. You're right.
Yeah, leave it
What
like
if we were to
that.
make it more of like a vertical? Something like that, maybe.
That could
Ooh.
work.
I like that
I-
better.
I
I like
see
that
it-
gray sky now.
I see it as three separate images lined up in canvas on the wall, one right after the other.
Yeah, you
next
could
to
do
each
that,
other.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
No,
With like
I
a
like
break
this.
between them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like this longer version too versus the square. I think it brings more attention to the bridge or the walking path.
yeah, and you don't lose the context by getting rid of the sky and
Yep.
a lot,
Yep.
No, it's still cool. It's a cool effect. I'll give you credit. You did it on purpose, right?
I
Did it on
Well, I
purpose. Nice.
did
selected
it on
this on
purpose.
purpose.
Exactly what you
So
wanted.
I did this on purpose. So I kept going back to this photo. I mean, I had other ones that were crisper or different or still cold and I think that's the painter in me that just keeps going back to this one, like how cool this is, and that there are filters that make painting or make photos look like this. And I'm
Yes,
like,
they
well,
do.
I'm just gonna kind of
Yeah.
throw that out there and see what people have to say, because I like it, but I don't know, like technically, photography wise,
Oh, that's
what other
artistic
people's
expression, though.
opinions on it.
Intentional camera blur or intentional
Right.
blur is a thing. I mean, people do that all the time. Right.
Right.
So
Right.
it's, I think that somehow, like I said, the way you panned, you end up panning the snowflakes just with whatever camera blur there is. Somehow that helps to make it work, because something is in focus and it just looks like you're focusing in on the snowflakes.
Mhm.
I'm curious, did you shoot this in square
No,
or crop afterwards?
I cropped after.
I like it because it could be basically anywhere from New Hampshire down to Virginia. And you have no
Mhm.
idea where it is.
It's true.
There's no specific landmarks. I like that. There you go, Scott.
Oh, do we have a timekeeper tonight?
We do, but she can't speak.
Oh.
I'll say we're probably at 5 minutes, and thank you, everybody, and that was really helpful.
Well done, Nasina.
Yeah, nice work, Asina.
Thanks.
Indeed.
Alrighty. Here, since she can't speak, I'll try and keep track of myself. Timer.
Scott did a good job last time.
Doing on time.
Next up is Peter Morse.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow,
Oh,
More movement.
that's
I like it.
cold.
Yep.
Ooh.
It was cold, yeah. We took
I
off,
love.
we went up 107 at the Gilmanton. And there's up on 107, before 140, there's an overlook farm right at the top of this hill that overlooks a mountain range. And there's also, before you get to that, there's a cul-de-sac off to the right. And it's become one of my favorite places to go to look at the mountains. And when we were up there, the wind was blowing, it was blowing the snow sideways at about 300 miles an hour. I get out of the car. I get out of the car for 3 minutes all bundled up. I said, well, that's enough of that. So
Well, you could definitely see the snow is moving pretty fast. So,
yeah.
can't tell which direction. It looks like maybe the right.
Yeah, it was coming in gusts. There was the lawns of the houses up there are few, and there are large parcels of land. So it was sweeping across the lands, the home lawns where the snow was. But what I did was this is a frame out of a video that I took. I thought I'd try, I tried to catch it. The only camera I had was my P900. I didn't have my 5200. I tried to stop motion this and I just couldn't get it. I said, well, the hell with it, let's take a video and see what happens. So I took the video, which was larger than this, and then found this one frame that I liked, cropped it, and did very little editing on it, and converted it to black and white.
I love all the specular highlights everywhere.
I do too.
Like that with the snow, it works so well.
It was like diamonds hanging off of the trees.
Yeah, it was
The
amazing.
sparkle was amazing. And it was so difficult. I couldn't capture it and make myself happy. I think Peter did a good job catching some of it.
I didn't know whether that portion on the right was too blown out. I tried to, in the foreground, I tried to soften that a little bit, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, if it needed to be done at all.
That's really how it looked.
you try a radium?
No,
Well, and it may just be so blown out that there's no detail there. And then fixing it sometimes just makes it obvious that you're trying to fix something. And yeah, sometimes it's just better to leave it alone, which I think is what you more or less did here.
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to take a look at it and give me some feedback on it, what you thought.
It's very simple, but the textures in there because of the snow in the background with the black, and then you've got the sparkly part, but the water itself has different textures in it too. It's soft in the back and it's not in the front. So it just gives a lot of a good textural feel. And I like the long crop. That works well.
Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that. The long crop on it. I actually read it from right to left. I don't know if anybody else is reading it a different way, but it's kind of the opposite of how you would read, like how I would read a photo or, you know, read anything else. So I think there's that kind of tension in that too, where, you know, we know what that looks like as cold, that if we were standing out in it, we know how cold it would be, especially like you can feel it in that photo. Nice job.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
The other thing I'm seeing in it too is the diamond sparkles. You can also see the warmth in it too. Sounds crazy, but it's definitely cold.
It
Yeah,
looks
it's
like a
cold
cross
because
between Christmas lights and barbed wire. It looks really cool.
There's a combination I hadn't thought of.
There you go.
Yeah, I think the snow certainly speaks to cold, but like Deb, I think it was Deb. I don't have my video up.
The sparkles.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely sunny out,
Yep.
which speaks to warmth. But I mean we've all been out on sunny, like really cold sunny, because that's obviously ice that's sparkling, so that makes it cold too. And you can see the way that it's sparkled all around the branches.
Yes.
It's just a layer of ice on everything, so it's really cool.
They were encased. Yeah.
One thing that I think is cool is that snow over to the left on the bottom just keeps reminding me of like an ocean wave, which wouldn't make sense with what's in this picture, but it gives it kind of an abstract feel, combining that imagery of the ocean with the branches that are very obviously covered with ice, and then all of the texture in the background that you can tell is snow, but also kind of looks like stars. I don't know if abstract was necessarily what you were going for, but all of that combined with the long crop, like I feel like the more I look at this, the more things are jumping out. And you know, just the way they're all sort of juxtaposed together makes it a very, very interesting photo. Excuse me.
Definitely.
It's definitely interesting. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was our 5 minutes for this.
Yep.
So Peter, I don't know if anybody has anything else for Peter.
Oh,
Good job.
Great job.
Yeah,
Good job, Peter.
Really great job, Peter.
Indeed.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, next up. Mr. Cooper, he puts his name right on it. That's always handy.
Oh, yeah. That's
Whose
what I
photo
do.
is this?
I don't know.
Is there any doubt? No, I was out at Sandwich, and I go out there about once a month. I really like the Alice Bemis Thompson Wildlife Preserve there. It's a great place to do Milky Way shots because it's kind of dark, but only about 1 in every 5 trips or 6 trips do I find something worth shooting. But we had this cold theme, so I thought I'd give it a try because the marsh there is just so desolate and white when it's frozen over and covered. So I thought I'd start with some detail in the front with the boardwalk, and then running off into the more obscure, more simplistic, just blacks and whites almost of the background.
This is in New Hampshire?
Yes, this is in Sandwich. Just
Alice?
up close to Tamworth.
Yes, I know.
It's a wildlife, more an estuary, if you will, but I very rarely see birds there. But I have seen a moose there and a few otters, but very rarely do I see any wildlife when I go up. But it does have dark skies. It's a great place for just desolation shots like this.
What was the name of the wildlife refuge?
Alice Bemis Thompson.
Alice Bemis, B-E-M-I-S?
B-E-M-I-S, Alice Bemis Thompson.
Okay.
3
thank you.
names. Wildlife refuge, and it's in Sandwich.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out. I never even knew it existed.
Me
Yeah,
either.
you guys have seen that Milky Way that I did, the panorama stretching across the sky. That was done here out on this boardwalk in this dark sky over this landscape, because the skies are so dark there at night. It's a beautiful place to shoot the Milky Way.
So as I'm looking at this, Reed, it's not the snow that feels cold, it's the black skies
Yeah.
with the snow, but it's the black skies that just,
Yeah,
And the
to
bare
me, I
trees.
almost had a
Snow or-
reflection of that sky in the
Yeah.
snow for some reason. It's almost like it's
oh
it's
yeah,
almost reflected. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things I liked about it.
Yeah, and there's like no warm tones anywhere.
no,
The little like hints of yellow and like, but nothing of any significance. So yeah, it's just
I can
cold.
almost, I can, like, when I look at this, I can almost like feel and hear the wind, like standing on that cold, like boardwalk, and, you know, just how quiet it must be out there, and just hearing, you know, just the slightest breeze just gives me a chill.
Well, it was more than the slightest breeze. That was a cold day.
it looks
You can
it.
hear
It
the
was like
wood
3 or 4 days
cracking.
ago when we had a really cold day.
It makes me just want to bundle up.
Monique says that she likes the mood.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
agree with her.
a
It
shot.
definitely fits the cold, topic very
Cold
well.
category.
So I was playing, I almost went back to rule of thirds and tried to cut more of the sky out, but I thought the sky added more than it would diminish if I tried to get just pure rule of thirds. But anyway, it is what it is.
Well,
I
no,
think
mean,
the sky
skies-
ties in.
Yeah, skies. It's all a matter of whether it fits what you want to tell it. I mean, if it's just a plain blue sky, that doesn't.
Yeah.
You want to crop most of that out.
Mhm.
But when you have the textures and the obvious sort of coldness, winter cold, we all know those overcast winter days.
Mhm.
You know, it certainly adds to the mood.
I get a sense of cold because I've gone out on some of those before, and then you turn around, you come back, and you get to a certain point, and you look, and you're like, "Oh man, I still got this far to go." You know, you get cold for a while.
Yeah.
Chilled to the bone. Very nice, Reed.
Cool. Thank you.
Nice shot, Reed.
All right. All right. Anything else for Reed? Okay. Next up, we have Amanda.
Not first this
Ooh.
time, yay.
We only made you do that the first 2 times.
Oh, okay. So now I've got my street cred and we have newer members, so I don't have to do it anymore. Awesome.
Don't never say never.
True.
Yeah, I know.
That's true.
I'll pay for it.
We've all had to go first.
I'll pay for it next month.
I love
Definitely
how
cold.
encased.
Yeah, definitely cold.
So
That's a cold morning.
yeah, it was actually, what's funny is this wasn't even morning. What day was the big ice storm we had? February
it's like a-
4th, I think, on a
It's like a
Friday.
Thursday or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
And-
second.
My photo was.
So that storm happened on a Friday, and I
Yep.
went hiking that weekend. I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. And just did, Mount Major, a relatively small one I've done before, although never in winter because I didn't know how any of the trails further north were going to be. And the trail thankfully was just snow, but everything on it was completely encased in ice. Everything looked like blown glass. And once I got up high enough, the wind was whipping that day. Once I got up high enough, you could hear the trees crackling. It was really cool. I took a ton of photos because it was just about noon by the time I reached the top. So it was a sunny day. The sun was right overhead. And I'm sure everyone has seen, when the sun's hitting that much ice just right, the way everything just glows. Unfortunately, a lot of they didn't convey what I was trying to convey in terms of how much ice there was and that glow. So that's something I need to work on, but I got a lot of really good close-up shots, like this one that, show how covered everything was.
And I find myself just looking around the image, looking for just little details everywhere.
Well, I like that if you look at the branches itself and not I don't know if those are pine cones or what, but you can actually see all the ice that's on the burrows or the needles.
I know, and then the dusting of snow that came after the ice.
Yeah.
That really adds quite a lot to it.
Beautiful.
Part of the left.
Crop part. Hold on, let me see here.
Yeah.
We're working with you, Monique.
Like
Yeah,
that?
Yes.
I did actually have two different shots of this, and one of them I did crop a little more closely. I mean, either one of them really would work. I did like the depth of field sort of, and having it not cropped in quite so close, so that's why I opted to go with that.
We
And
didn't
I
focus
would
on this.
crop
'cause-
out the icicle at the bottom on the right. I just think that adds to it. Yeah.
Amanda, what was your focus point on this? I only ask because my eye keeps getting drawn to that one icicle that's not in focus.
This big.
You know,
Y-
it
you
almost seems
know-
like that's the most forefront thing in the image.
You know, I got to be honest, like I said, I took about a zillion photos, so I don't remember specifically. I think I was just trying to get the 4 or 5 pine cones in the front as in focus and possible, and try and, you know, the rest of it kind of just see what happened. Again, I was playing with the depth of field a little bit too. I can also say that, you know, when I was doing this, I was handheld and on a slight incline. So.
Hey, Sean, try one last thing for me. Go into the masking tool. Click select subject. Let's see what it selects.
Let's see what Lightroom thinks this subject is. Yep.
I was gonna say, because if it would have go through and select like that whole little limb there, I was wondering if it would do that, and then we could just like kind of darken the background a little bit, because the bright snow in the background, if we could just darken that a little bit, I think it would make that stand out just slightly more. If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't even think you'd have to select it out, really, right? It's
No. So when you do that, it kind of affects your front ones too. So if you can select the subject, you can focus in just on the background.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was wondering if it would select all of that in the front and then try to just darken the background. But Lightroom had different plans for us.
I know, and I was playing with just the color of it, like white balance adjustments, and saturation. And that's obviously far too warm, but if you tone that back a little bit, you start to get the greens back where they kind of should be.
Yeah, the original as shot was
And I think if you take some of the saturation,
actually
as well,
what I ended up going with, but I was trying to not oversaturate on the color either. So it's possible that, you know, that could get bumped up a little bit more.
Oh, see, I think it should go the other way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think, so hold on, let me put it back to where it was. So I think, like, especially in your highlights, and it's just a matter of the sky reflecting in the snow, but it's very blue. I guess adds to, I mean, if that's what you're going for, it does sort of add to the cold, I think. But if you just did the eyedropper a little bit and sort of get that back into something neutral and tone this down, like get it out of the yellows and bring it back into the blues a little bit.
Right, but make the snow a little more white.
Right, it makes the snow white, which helps to bring the color of everything else back into place. And then to regain, you know, maybe you lost a little bit of the cold that the blues were giving you, you just take that saturation down. And so now you have your, like, it's just a little bit, it's muted, which adds, I think, a little bit to the coldness. Just a thought. I don't know if it really works.
Thank you.
No, it's a nice shot.
Yeah, it's cool. I like I said, I found myself just looking all over at it. So, all
You
right.
should get out in the winter sometime, Sean. It was fun.
Oh, I get out.
Shoot from a window.
Wow. Okay. Next up is Scott. I don't have to take that from you guys.
I was going out for a sunset. It didn't happen, so I had to go to Arthur's, and on the way by, I said, "Oh,
Oops.
I like that little puddle of water," because everyone who's ever had a leak in their shoe and stepped in that knows that that water is cold.
Very.
Oh, and I love the reflection that it offers. The
Mm-hmm.
tree and the top of the gazebo.
That is
I
a
like how the
2-image stack.
I like how that tree kind of frames it in too. The way just those limbs go up, it kind of goes right around and follows the gazebo top.
Well, then the tree on the other side completing the frame too.
Yep, exactly.
Right. I mean, classic framing.
Nope, that's great.
You got to do something to it, though, Sean. You got to play with it.
All right. Is that better?
I would straighten it just a
No,
little
that's
bit.
not better.
I don't know. Does it look better square? Does it look better horizontal
long.
without the reflection? I
Oh,
don't know.
Scott, I don't dare.
Bring it,
adjust your
yeah,
stuff.
bring up the crop a little bit. Keep going. Yeah, right about there, maybe. I don't know.
No,
No.
No,
no, no.
Yeah, I think I see that, and
Is
that's
this Twitch plays
pulls
Photoshop?
my eye away from what I want to be looking at.
yeah,
That's a bright white light suck thing that's just sucking my eye away from where it should be.
I did struggle with that, but then it cuts off. I thought it cut off the reflection, and you almost missed the reflection. So,
Oh, I mean, obviously,
I
I'm in the
would-
minority.
that.
Everybody yelled at me immediately, but that was the way I looked at it. Was that this here is a distraction to me?
So darken it up a
tone it
little bit.
down?
Just darken it up a little bit and do the same thing on the left-hand
Yeah.
side.
burn
Whatever
it down a little.
that other
Yeah, 'cause the
building on
other-
the left. Just,
the
is
laundromat is a little bit hot too.
that what that is, the laundromat? Yeah. Just,
I believe it is. Yeah,
yeah, I think you might be right.
or Sinel's, something.
Yeah. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I think it was just the time of day kind of lighting. Like, had you just, probably waited, 15 minutes and the lighting would have been completely different. You would have probably lost all those buildings in the background.
Yeah, but you
Just
also
for
you also
fun.
lose the blue in the sky if you wait for that.
Yeah.
Just for fun, what about a horizontal crop? Crop out the White House in the front and do a horizontal, including the reflection. I think I like the vertical better, but I
So get rid of this. and
do a horizontal though, a horizontal crop. Yeah, crop it down. Even more,
even
that
more.
square. Yeah, I don't like that.
No, you've lost the reflection of the tree.
Yeah, totally lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
doesn't work.
no.
I mean, that's the thing though, Scott. It's like, can we actually improve on perfection since that's all you ever give us?
Not perfection, believe me.
Do you think he did this on purpose to see what we would come up with?
He was like, yeah,
He
I'm gonna
always
throw some
does.
tension into this tonight.
Yeah. I think it's just the house on the right. Your eye keeps going there.
I only went there until Sean said something.
I
Yeah.
didn't even see
Well,
that house until Sean
exactly.
said something.
You could
But now
definitely
that he
fix that in
did say it.
Photoshop.
Oh,
I
you
think
could
that-
Clone it out.
probably what I would do in Photoshop is actually just give it a color that matches that brick behind it or something. Just sort of blend it in a little bit is what I would do in Photoshop. And that's quick and easy.
Yeah.
Or even just take this like shady tone here and just darken all of this down, which is a very easy thing to do in Photoshop.
Well, I think we better go to those people and tell them that their white building is too distracting for a picture and we want them to paint it black.
There you go. I like that.
Right.
I think
That's
the building
always
on
an
the left
option.
is more distracting than the one on the right.
With all the
Hmm.
starbursts, my eye just goes right to the reflection and it just gets pulled
Yeah.
straight ahead. I don't notice any of those buildings on the right
Yeah, it's
until you
Yeah,
mentioned it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, right away, that's where my eye goes too. But if I start looking around, which is what we do in these things,
Mhm.
Your eye starts getting dragged to other bright spots of the image.
And you have the trash cans.
Well, I mean, that just adds character though. That's
Well, and you got the direct TV boxes on the house, satellites on the house.
How dare you leave those, Scott?
Come
Scott,
on, now
what do
we're
you
really
think, Dean?
nitpicking, Scott.
How dare you not clone out somebody's radar dish?
Oh yeah, now I see it.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the alarm for Scott. I've probably given him enough of a hard time. We
As
can
always.
make it all night, Scott. It's a beautiful image, just the same. As usual.
Great shot, Scott, as always.
All right, next up, Jacob Murphy.
Ooh.
Okay,
Oh,
that's cool.
There are lots of things here that are pulling me to the center of the image that I like. The rocks, that tree, the water, the stick in the upper left-hand
Yep.
corner.
Where
There are
was
lots of
this?
things.
It was in North Berwick.
I know where this is. The waterfall. I
Yep.
know which one that is. The one right where you cross the bridge near Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep.
Jacob, you've been watching Gavin Hardcastle videos?
How can you tell?
You did a fantastic job capturing that
Great-
water too.
great
Yeah.
image. Yeah,
this is
definitely.
beautiful.
That water's crisp. That water's oh God, it's beautiful. It's magnificent the way it is, how it flows. What was your shutter speed on this? It had to be what, 0.3?
I think it was a fifth of a second.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
it's
yeah.
a fifth at f11.
Everything, if you were to go on just another 2 stops further, you might have actually blown the water out too much and lost some of that detail. I think you really nailed the movement of the water on that. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's times I'm not a huge fan of like going like 25 or 30 seconds for a long exposure. I feel like the sweet spot is anywhere between, quarter or fifth up to maybe like a second or two. But
Well, yeah, waterfalls, anything greater than 2 seconds, you start to get a lot of washout and losing those streaking details.
yeah,
But
unless
no,
it's
this is excellent.
like a trickle, and then yeah, you want to do like 25 to 30 seconds to get that really streamlined flow.
I think the only thing I'm
this one
starting
was
to
flowing
see,
pretty good. So
the only thing that I see that might, but if I want to give you at least one critique, that rock on the right hand side, I can see that there's some lens fall off there. So I was just wondering if we could crop that. I mean, obviously you get the white border, but where the stick starts and kind of go in a little bit.
yeah, that area was a little.
Now that might be too far, Sean. Maybe you come back that way a little bit. Somewhere like right in there. Yeah. Get rid of some of that
Yeah.
fall off on the rock.
Over here.
But yeah, that's good too. Yep. Right there is good. Because now it looks more like there's not that fall off on that one corner. But the rest of it, the snow is beautiful.
What would it look, excuse me, if you got rid of some of the yellowing, if it were all more pure white? You know what I'm saying?
But
Yep.
it's not really all pure white though there, right? Isn't that?
No, I'm sure it's not, but
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
curious if
gotcha,
you
gotcha.
lighten
Might
it
be
up a little bit.
orange.
Yeah, take some orange out of it.
Yeah, but you get the orange and you get the blue too. And it looks, I mean, that's what I've seen the orange in the ice before,
Yeah.
just looking around. So it's nice. I think it's a nice contrast. It's natural.
It is.
Yeah. I think I like that orange in there a little bit.
Huh, that mostly falls in the greens for some reason.
That's strange. It didn't move at all when you did yellow, orange, and red.
Yellows are just up in that right corner. Hardly
Yeah, in one
anywhere
spot on
else.
that
Yeah, not
stick.
a whole lot.
Use that sample picker and hit the spot that you want to drop.
All right, so it's aquas and greens.
Yeah.
I kind of like the color balance though, personally.
Yeah, no, I was just curious what it,
Yep.
what it might look like.
No, everything pulls me right to that center point in the waterfall where the action's going on, and I really
Yes.
enjoy that.
Oh, Asina says that she has to leave and she's so sorry.
Bye, Asina.
Bye.
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 Yeah, I think it's really nice. And that yellow's, I mean, we see that happen, especially on rivers and stuff. You see that happen.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Sure, sure.
I think if you were to get rid of that, you'd have to go full black and white, would be my guess.
Yeah, and that would.
Yeah.
Which, you know, may have its own sort of charm to it, you know? I mean,
No.
Yeah. I would, if I did it with black and white, I'd really do dodging and burning here to get more detail.
Yeah, no.
well, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, just like a lot of
Yeah.
contrast. I mean, that's obviously.
I know.
But
No, the color on that one was much better.
Yep.
I do love the blue color in there.
oh, I agree. I was just saying, if you're going to get rid of that yellows, I think probably better just go full black and white because it starts to look unnatural.
Yep.
My take, anyways.
Nice shot, Jacob.
Yeah,
It's
really good.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
Nice
Very
shot,
nice.
Jacob. And I'd just like to say that the name that I mentioned there, I think Jacob watches a lot of his videos. This guy actually takes 3 different settings and blends them into one image. He'll take one at, a 500th of a second, one at 1 second, and one at 10 seconds for a waterfall, and then blend them all in together. But this is great for one image.
Yeah, really nice. All right, next up, Ben Kramer,
Ooh.
Oh,
photographing a lava lamp.
All right, Ben, that's not cold. That's
Might be.
hot. But it looks very cold with the blue.
This is actually air bubbles trapped in ice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is
That's-
it air
that's
bubble
awesome.
trapped in ice?
Yeah.
Yep. How did you get this picture? Did you cut a piece of ice out with air bubbles in it?
So this is about a 6-inch block of ice from the bottom of a horse's water bucket that had frozen. I took several attempts at this. First attempt worked all right, but there was a lot of debris and stuff in the shot that I didn't find until bringing it onto my system to review. So like a week or two later, the ice blocks were still around, and brought them to the garage. Paid a little closer attention to the composition, finding the spots that were going to look good. There were 5 other sets of shots that I did for this that I ended up throwing out because either the composition or the details weren't what I wanted, or there were again bits of debris on the surface that showed up. A piece of hair that's stuck in the surface that you can't even see normally shows up nice and clear when you're using a macro lens. Some other things that helped, my wife suggested using a propane torch to melt the surface a little bit to polish it up. And that worked very well. As far as actually shooting it, I bounced the spotlight off of a whiteboard for the backlight, and used a little like a 5-inch LED panel set to blue that I literally just set right on top of the block of the ice and shot straight down at it with a macro lens. I did a focus stack of about 40 images for this. And yeah, like I said, there were like 5 other ones that didn't come out the way I wanted them to. And only a little bit of cropping on this as well. And only a little bit of healing to get rid of some minor specks.
Very effective.
Great.
I was thinking of doing something similar, but don't have the right lens to do this. And this is cool. This is really neat.
I'm not sure I had the computer power to do this.
Hey, this takes a lot of time.
You do.
40 images.
You do have the computer power to do this, because I did this in Affinity Photo on a little Ultrabook that's like 3 years old now.
Okay.
I would say only comment I have is similar to Jacob's in that lower portion, those balls right on the bottom. It
Yeah,
looks like they're
lights
out of
fall off.
focus. Just
Mhm.
they fall off. I would come up maybe or an inch in the image or when it was full screen. So
Yeah, you can see it down here.
right
Yeah, I
there.
agree.
That yep. You bring it up right to there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's sort of the same thing happening on this edge as well. Bring that in slightly.
And that's a super easy fix. And there it is. Everything is now crystal clear.
You know, and one of the things I love too is as sharp and intricate and interesting as the whole thing is, you still see the imperfections. I like they didn't fix it all. You know, the imperfections in the ice, it's all still there.
Yeah.
And the way
How
like
large
this is
or how
almost like
small are those?
reversed. That's wow, look at that.
Oh, those bubbles are
That's cool.
probably 2
Millimeter.
millimeters max.
Just a 100mm macro.
Yeah, it's a 105.
Okay.
I'm actually I really like the fact you don't have any, like, you know, I'm looking at the circles, right? And with the ice, I was wondering if there'd be any sort of like reflection of the camera or anything. And I don't really see it because I think it's just blurred enough that you don't even notice it either.
I think there's the way the light is that would prevent that as well, because the light is effectively in front of the camera, so you're unlikely to see it. One of the things that I'm happiest about it was the amount of depth that I got.
Very, very cool. Abstract.
What's
I
the
love it.
orange coming from in the background? Is that a sunset or is that a light source?
That's an LED spotlight bouncing off of a whiteboard, a white card, basically. It might look orange, but I think it's most effectively a gray.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Really
I love it.
Make a great
much
jigsaw
detail.
puzzle.
Beautiful
Oh,
shot.
it's evil.
What was that?
Jigsaw puzzle.
Oh yeah.
That would be tough.
My Lightroom just froze. Oh yeah. Yep.
That's
Yeah,
like
I'm moving my mouse. Oh, you know what? The battery in my mouse died.
That
These
sorry
days.
for the technical difficulties, everyone, but Sean's mouse is being a piece of junk.
Oh, no, I can't control batteries. Hold on a second. This one actually plugs in with a USB cord, so it only takes a second. Ah, there we go. All right.
And you got this resized to 3000 by something.
This is 3600. So it's basically a 10 inches across.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is 300 PPI and 3600 pixels. So yeah, I left your resolution the same, just made it a bit smaller to make the the JPEG not quite as cumbersome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think this would make a great acrylic.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because acrylic there's a natural depth to acrylic prints. If you guys haven't seen one before, there just is this really nice natural depth to it. And I think that it would really bring this out with that.
What about glass?
I've never used glass. I don't know. I only know from ordering acrylics, usually either from Bay Photo or from Heartbeat Studios.
Yeah, Heartbeat does good stuff.
And I just think like this particular, sometimes you see an image that you know would work really well in a particular medium as compared to others. And I think that make a great acrylic.
Yeah.
Monique says that she really likes this.
Thank you.
That's all she's got because she can't speak because her microphone busted. All right. All right. So timer went off. Anything else for Ben, guys?
I like the purple thumbnail that we were looking at there. It had turned kind of purple. I don't know why, but it was kind of nice to see it in a different color as well as the blue.
Oh yeah, I mean we could just do this. Go. Oh, that's luminance. Let's go back to set hue. Let's see what happens when you just mess around with the blue. There you go.
Oh,
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 You can
yeah.
play with so many colors with that. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Actually, if you bring up that aqua again, there was another shot that I did actually that has about this tone to it.
Every little bit is in the blues. So I don't see basically. Oh no, there's a little bit in the purples too. Blues and the purples. Huh.
How does it look without color, without saturation?
Yeah, and then it's just all detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then you can increase your black spot, and then you could definitely get more detail.
Oh yeah, I would definitely contrast this right up, really bring things out. And that's just going to add to the depth as well, especially up here in the, where. Anyways. All right, really cool, Ben. Anything else for Ben, guys?
Very nice.
And I got to keep it
Thank you.
moving because I think we could probably talk about this one for like an hour. So
Yeah, I want to see the next one. It's from a window, I think.
It's from a window.
That's from a window, Sean?
It is, yeah. It's the wind that's looking out the window at my studio.
Oh, in Rollinsford.
Yeah, so that's Salmon Falls the other day after the thaw, and then so again the river got running pretty good because of the thaw, but then it got real cold overnight, so you got this nice glazing of ice, and then this was right after one of those squalls the other day.
Yeah, it's cool. Lots of textures here.
Yeah. You'd never know it was out a window. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually the imperfections in glass windows will distort the image, but it really didn't here at all.
Well, I mean, I opened the window.
Oh, I was gonna
Oh.
You said through a window.
So
You didn't say
brave.
Open window.
Oh, guys, I'm smarter than that. I opened the window.
Well, I'm proud that you actually exposed yourself slightly into the cold weather.
No, I drove there too. Like, I
In a
left my
heated
house.
car.
Did have the heat on. That's true.
He probably had
Probably
he probably
heated
had a
seats,
heater
too.
blowing on him at the time.
Yeah, and a heated seat too.
Well, yeah, I got it.
I like how the center of it kind of looks like an oasis of ice.
Hmm.
Smooth.
It's like the moon surface.
Mm.
The detail on that metal is really cool with the ice and the rock and very cool.
Mhm.
Just think of what you could do, Sean, if you actually went outside and tried to get pictures of it.
Hey, when it warms up, I will.
There you go.
Try that with a wide angle lens up close.
Try a wide angle lens up close.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get out of your building.
They'll tell you to go outside.
All right. You guys do understand that I have a job that makes me work outside, right? Like when
Yes,
I
and
go
we
and
know,
work
we're
at
just
the
picking
race,
on
it's hot as F.
In the summer.
You know,
In the summer, not in the winter.
No, the winter
Sean, we're
sucks.
gonna get you outside to shoot in the winter in the elements.
See, Monique likes it. She doesn't care. She says,
Monique,
"Wow,
please
very
put your
cool song."
comments in.
And
about
there's
his-
no more ribbing about not being outside. And I'm just gonna type back and say, "Thank you, Monique."
Monique, you're weak. No, Sean, this is nice. I like the tone.
Oh, she would chirp in if she could.
Sean, if it helps, I did mine in my garage. So
Yeah, see?
But he had to go get the ice from the cold.
Okay,
There
I
you
did have to
go.
walk into the building.
I don't know what the problem is.
No, Sean, this is good.
Actually,
Very
in my
nice.
defense too, the only way to get this shot would be from my window. The closest land next to the river there is off limits. You can't go to there. There's no way to get there. So the only way to get this particular shot would be from a window in the building.
Okay, Sean, you're off the hook.
There you go. All right.
All right, Sean, we're done picking on you for the night.
No, great image. Great
Yeah,
image.
I love the contrast of the soft water and then the really sharp, ice in the rocks, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
No.
no.
Very, very sharp. Good contrast too.
And see, that's got the yellow water too.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
I
the
toned
light
it down
and
quite a
green.
bit. I tried to take a lot of the I didn't want a lot of saturation in it at all, but I did keep
Yep.
some of it.
If I could just say one thing in that lower right hand corner, is that a stick that's like it makes a triangle?
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing that doesn't really go with the rest of the water flow direction. I might just want to clone that
Right
part out
there.
right there.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's just something in there wiggling. It's a 2-second exposure, so it's wiggling in the water there. Yep.
Yeah, I would just clone
Water
that out.
tends to
Other than
have a
that,
second exposure either way.
no, the exposure for the waterfall's right. It's nice. Creates very nice lines.
Yeah. No, I was just happy I did something for cold because I was probably gonna skip it. So
Oh, great
You're the
job.
president. You're not allowed to skip.
I have before.
I know. I skipped before too, so I'm guilty of it. And I'm the vice president, so I shouldn't do that either.
But, all right. I forgot
Well
my
done.
timer, but I think 5 minutes is probably about up.
Mhm.
So thank you, everybody. All right, next up. All right, now it's Jared's turn.
Pick on me.
Before you go outside, Jared.
Yuck.
This was during the blizzard that we had a few weeks back. On that
Really? It's during a
Saturday.
blizzard, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I just
Had
thought
to
it was
drive
noise.
home.
I
It's
thought that was just
definitely
a
noise.
dirty sensor.
Yeah, a lot of dirt.
I did an invert of this of all the sensor dust, made it white rather than the dark color. But I think everyone knows what that is. So I wanted to do a cool color, so I played with the color balance and went with the cooler tones on this one.
Well, it fits the image, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. No, and you handled the snow very well.
The area, so where is that, Jared?
So this is if you're on Badger Island, and Portsmouth is the city behind it, right before you cross the Memorial Bridge.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the
All
bridge
right.
is just to the left of where he's standing here.
Yeah, I'm standing on the bridge right here.
Oh,
I
that's true,
actually
yeah.
parked my car back at Ornell's and then ran up to here to take the photo because I didn't want to park on the bridge with all the snow plows going by or beginning to start to go by.
So was this at the beginning of the storm, Jared?
Yeah, this is probably right around 9:30 in
Yeah.
the morning.
I would say, because I've got one in there too, but mine was in the afternoon and your flakes are much bigger and it looks like it hadn't really started howling with the winds at that point.
Yeah, it really hadn't accumulated much here on like the traps or on the dock, as you can see, but
Yeah.
it was starting to accumulate on the road. So it was almost whiteout conditions about 5 minutes later.
Oh, I bet. And I love the big flakes here. I missed the big flakes, but it's all right. We get another opportunity on Friday.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Oh, man.
We should get Sean out on a lobster boat in the wintertime.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
You would literally have to
To
kidnap
do
me
a-
to do that.
Maybe we could take up a collection.
For what?
It-
How much you gonna pay me?
No, to get you on a boat. And
I'll
we'll
go
take
on
you
a
out.
boat, but not in the winter.
And Scott, who's gonna be his chaperone or go with him out there? Because you're gonna go with him on the cold winter lobster boat?
Sure, I'd go.
I will. I'll be on it.
I'd
with him.
go.
If he's gonna
Oh,
suffer,
okay,
I'll
so
go
wait a
with him.
minute. What would be the point of going on a lobster boat? You're not gonna get a lot of photography out there. I mean, maybe of the lobster men, but that's about it.
Tell a
I
story.
think just the
Yes.
fact of having you on a lobster boat in the middle of the water with like nowhere to escape to any place warm.
That's how I
We could do
feel.
a
enough
sea
for
smoke
us.
shot.
Driveway.
I like the way Jacob put that. Now we're talking.
Well, the lobster boat could take him out to the Isle of Shoals and he could visit that lady that does a lot of photography out there.
Oh, I'd talk to her. Let's go do that. That sounds good.
Are they?
Now, that would be interesting being out on the Isle of Shoals during a snowstorm.
She out there during the winter?
That's
Yeah,
the only
she-
time she's out there, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
she,
The winter
I
time.
think she's the caretaker, isn't she, for the winter?
Yeah, Scott knows her. Right, Scott?
Yeah, I think she's done it for like 26 years.
Yeah, she stays all winter out there. She never comes back to shore.
I'll I'll post a video tonight. It's a YouTube video that she did out there. I don't know, 3-4 years ago. I'll put in the group.
There was a
group
point that we
there.
talked about getting her to come present for us. There's something about the details and how much she wanted and how long the presentation was that we decided not to. I can't remember exactly why it was. Too much money, not long enough presentation. Essentially.
She's very sought after for speeches, but
Yeah.
this looks very cold.
Yeah, it
Yes,
does.
very cold. I mean, the snow is so well handled here that it's sometimes it's not easy to get that.
And that's one of those other things that always comes into question. Do you want to freeze the snowflakes, or do you want the moving, driving effect of the snowflakes with a longer shutter speed?
Doesn't it depend too on the size of the snow? Like you can clearly see these are the bigger flakes. That's why I asked Jared if this was at the beginning of the storm, because once the storm got rolling, it was very fine, or maybe it depended upon where you were too. But
Yeah.
you could see the size of the flakes here.
I
Yeah,
think
this
too,
is-
it's all a matter of like personal preference. Like, I mean, I absolutely love this.
Oh, I do too.
But I mean, it's all up to what you want to do. Do you want to freeze the snow, or do you want to give it just that slight, motion, or but no, I really like this.
That's beautiful, Jared.
Thank you. I just like the fact that the lobster buoys, they had just pulled them out of the water, so it kind of creates a leading line towards the dock, which you don't typically see all the time because they put the buoys out or the lobster traps out, but they pull them in for the storm.
Jared, did you the snow like right after the lobster traps there? Did you try to bring those down, the highlights down just a little bit more, or was that like?
I definitely
tried
tried to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tried to. I was slightly overexposed on that. Yep, I tried to, and it's pretty harsh. But you could dim them down, but I think because they're slightly blown out, when you do that, it kind of makes it look weird. So that was
Yeah.
the thing I don't like about it, is that snow on the right hand side.
Yeah. It does, yeah, but it doesn't take too much away because it sort of helps your eye lead back across the bridge out to the boat.
Yeah. I wonder if like putting a radial gradient over it and
lobster traps in.
taking on the high. What's that?
I say I sort of follow the lobster traps in, and even though it, sort of catches all that hotness of the snow, I just sort of follow it around, over the bridge into the lobster house and to the boats.
I did crop slightly from the right too, because there was more to the right on that picture, but because it is just all white blankness, I tried to crop it a little bit closer so that way you get that slight little gap.
Well, and I like that you left that steeple there, because that's an identifying mark of Portsmouth. So even if somebody didn't know where this was on Badger Island, like if they know Portsmouth, they know that church steeple.
Right.
I recognize it for sure.
I definitely was considering removing it, and I took it out. I'm like, no, I don't like it anymore. So I wanted to leave that in the upper left-hand corner for that exact reason, Sean.
Yeah, but it's so subtle too. I mean, it doesn't, I think it adds to the picture. It doesn't take away from it, the steeple.
Oh, I agree. I'm glad you left it. Yeah,
A couple things.
Nope. go ahead.
I really like the little splashes of color that all those little buoys on the side of the shack there add. And I'm curious to see a crop of this.
Send it. Let's see it.
Sean, bring up the bottom to just over the buoys.
The traps, like this.
Yep. Yeah. And bring it in from the right until it lines up with that horizontal mast.
Like here?
Yep. Yeah.
Bring it
I
out
think
to the
that just
end
ends
of
up
the
getting
mast.
tight on that building a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wonder if,
I think if you pull it to the right,
like,
maybe a
yeah,
little bit
stretch
more.
it back out a little bit, like this.
Yeah, maybe to the end of that.
Right, yeah, right
mast.
there.
Include a little bit of the bridge.
Right there.
Yeah, I like that better than what we just did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of cramped on the edge that way. That's better. Yep. That's a different crop I didn't consider.
I think that
bring the emphasis where it should be doing that.
What about a black and white now?
Ooh.
Looks old. Looks like an old picture.
Mm-hmm.
Scratched old picture.
Yeah,
And you
if I
could
was gonna
even
do
go
black and white
into
too,
and select the in your HSL panel and you know, really bring out the buoys on the side of that shack there.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. All the reds and oranges and yellows, brighten those up.
Silver Effects Pro could really do that well.
see if you can get the picker to select the buildings in the background and bring those down a bit.
Yeah, it certainly adds to the moodiness of it.
Yeah. You have just enough contrast on the buildings to make them stand out as a horizon.
It's pulling, what we just did pulled out a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I mean, photo Lightroom's pretty good, but that's quite a lot. Define might take care of that.
Yeah, I'd use AI denoise. Which then it would probably remove some of the snowflakes, but some of them probably could be removed too. Because there's a ton.
Well, I didn't really notice the noise too much until we turned it black and white and sort of stretching the histogram a little bit.
Oh, that's an interesting crop. Didn't consider that.
But I do kind of like it. That gives it like a real, almost newspapery, old-timey feel to it. It's cool.
Wonder what would
Cool.
happen if you put a little septa to it.
Do what?
A little
Sepia?
septa. Yep.
Oh, sepia.
Oh yeah.
Add phone to it.
As I said, I probably have. Well, maybe not. Phone
I
didn't.
think there's some higher up that you missed.
Man, these are kind of sepia-ish. That's kind of cool. There we go. It's a sepia look to it.
Now it looks like you would have never known that if with that, I don't think you would know that it was taken recently.
Yeah, if you remove that boat, you could say that it was a 60, 70-year-old image.
Well, I kind of say a little bit older than that.
Yeah. All right. Well, the 5-minute timer has gone by already. So okay.
Yeah, let's go someone else's. Thank you guys for all your input.
All done.
Nice.
All right. Next up, Carol Martin.
I know where this was taken.
Ew.
Very nice.
Castle in
Very,
the
very
clouds,
nice.
right?
Yep.
Clouds, yep.
Very nice.
Where was it taken?
Castle in the clouds.
Oh,
Yeah, this is looking across the pond, right?
Yes. And it was awfully cold that day. That was as far as we walked. Couldn't get the dog to go any further. Couldn't get me to go any further. It was freezing.
I just wish at Castle in the Clouds to get rid of those electrical wires. It's like
Yeah.
it
Well-
ruins the sunset.
Yeah, I did take out there's like I want to call it a carport. That's not really what it is, but they have like a shelter over here that had picnic tables near it. I did crop that. I got that out. I cloned that out because I didn't like it.
That's a very pretty winter scene. Very cold scene.
Super cold. And I'm with Sean. I don't like cold.
A nice balance of the trees and the fences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were you
it's
up there
gonna,
in the morning?
Was no, because I couldn't possibly have gotten out of bed and up there in the morning with a dog and a husband. No, it was later in the day. I don't remember exactly what time, but it was actually part of a personal project that I've been working on, trying to get this same shot summer, winter, fall, and spring.
oh, cool.
Well, I was gonna ask, I thought it looked familiar, like maybe during the fall challenge, we saw a scene
Yes,
similar to
think
this. Was
maybe-
that yours?
Yes, it
Yeah.
probably would have been mine. Yep. That would have
Yep.
been last fall.
Okay, I thought maybe I was just imagining things. I'm
No,
glad you said
no,
that.
no,
'Cause-
no.
Oh,
It's something I've been trying to do for a while. I really wanted to get there when there was snow on the trees, but I don't think that's
Well.
really gonna happen.
You can get back there this weekend.
Friday,
Yeah. It's not
Go
a
on
fun road.
Saturday morning.
Saturday
don't-
morning, bright and early.
Yeah, I don't know. That road's pretty scary climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad on a good day. I'm donating
Yeah.
blood on Saturday morning anyway. I can't go Saturday morning.
Yeah, I climb it. And I'm just not comfortable because I keep looking over the edge. It's like, no.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know how they get 18 wheelers up there, to be honest with you.
Very carefully.
Yeah. Oh, they don't have to go all the way either.
Is that why they have that pull off there? Because it said to call when they come up.
Well, that's so, yeah, I think that's just so they make sure nobody's coming out at the same time they're trying to come in. There's that water bottling facility there.
Yeah, I haven't been up to the water bottling. They used to be able to go in and see.
There's not much to critique.
No, I'm
Yeah.
looking around and thinking the same
Oh.
thing.
Yeah, I like how it does convey the cold, and yet somehow the blues in the sky sort of still make it an inviting scene,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. I like the directionality of light and the use of shadows to sort of show that, I mean, it's either early morning or, end of the day. You said it was sort of towards the afternoon.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I mean, it's a nice, just a nice scene. And you
Very
handle
nice
the
scene.
snow very well. It's not like blown out or anything, so not easy to do sometimes, especially on a sunny-ish day like this.
It was a nice day. It was just a very cold day.
No, that's a
Not
lot.
very
Of,
much.
that's a lot of light to photograph snow sometimes. Like it's easy to blow it out. So that's what I'm saying. Like it did a nice job just handling that.
My only suggestion would be to try and remove the telephone pole and the
Telephone
wires
lines?
in the background.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily the roof that you can see there, because I mean it's brown, so it kind of blends in with other things in the photo, but the pole and the wires there are a little distracting.
Stupid.
That'd be it.
Hmm?
Right? How dare it exist so we can have Zoom meetings?
Dare they?
Stupid, amazing technology.
Awful,
And
isn't
new electricity.
it?
Things I couldn't fathom as a child are real now. It's amazing.
I'm still waiting for flying cars.
That means we all have to have pilot's licenses. That would suck. That's terrifying. Flying cars are terrifying if you know just the general population.
They
They
wouldn't
can't
really
keep
be
them-
that much more dangerous than driving on the highway.
I do.
Oh, yeah, and then they fall out of the sky.
Dangerous.
We got some pretty dumb people driving around already.
Road rage at 10,000. Some guy like with a gun chasing you down. Yeah, I watched too
Okay,
much.
well,
News, I think.
That escalated quickly.
So yeah. All right. Well, anybody else have anything else for Carol?
Nice shot, Carol.
Yeah,
Pretty, very nice.
nice
Pretty
work.
nice.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to seeing the project when it's done.
Yeah.
4 seasons.
Got a couple more seasons to go.
No, I know, I'm interested to see it. I think it'd be cool.
There was one I was working on, the same thing for all 4 seasons. It was a barn on the way between Milton and Ossipee.
We know that. I know
That
that
barn
one.
on the right,
Yeah.
I got 3 seasons, and then they put this stinking banner on that barn and just totally screwed it up.
Owners of the barn.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Anyway.
like me and Shakara trying to get, John Geis has found my spot.
Yeah, he did.
Old
And,
Mr. Jesus.
doing I've got 3 seasons, I think, of it.
Yeah. That's hard sometimes.
Yeah, especially when I thought that, oh, nobody has this shot. And then he comes up with it. Oh, that's neat.
All right, next up is Lisa Shirtliff.
That was cold. It was last Sunday, 17 degrees, -2 wind chill.
No.
Frank,
No,
Frank,
it's warm. Summertime. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, Frankenstein's Cliffs
Yep.
up in Crawford Notch. Ice climbing, and they are phenomenal. This was somebody who was just learning. She does climb rock, but she was just learning how to ice climb. And I think there's like 7 different places to ice climb up there along the train tracks. I walked across the trestle. Frankenstein's trestle was so cool. I'd never done that before. Met up with a couple from New York, and they let me hang out with them for the day. And I became their personal photographer and took tons of pictures of them climbing Dracula, which is supposedly the cream of the crop to climb up there.
Very nice.
It was very, very cool. I had the best day. I climbed up this ice hill. I have no idea when I got up there how the hell I was going to get back down it. It was straight down.
I'm glad you managed to get down.
It was unbelievable. I got up there, I looked down, and I went, how am I going to get down from this place? I ended up having an ice pick. I used an ice pick all the way down to get me off of it. I had a ball. It was so much fun. And as I said, this was somebody that I met. It was her and her boyfriend and an instructor, and she was learning how to do it. This was her first time up.
It's a great shot, and it reminds me of an old Gordon Luber's quote: "Do these pants make my butt look big?"
Yeah. When you're taking pictures of, the 90% of the pictures that I took, you got somebody's butt, because they really can't turn around and carry on a conversation with you when they're climbing up this ice cliff.
Right.
So
But the colors make it work completely, because they just change the whole scene, and that's what you're looking at, and that's what you're supposed to look at.
Yeah, they all wear the most amazing bright orange, greens, blues, purples, and then all of their. She didn't have any equipment on, but all of their equipment that's on their belts, all of the screws and the clamps and everything that they have are all different colors.
That's okay. That's so they can be found when they fall off the edge.
Yeah.
You can find the body, yeah.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun to go up there and watch them. This is the second year I've done it. Last year I did Cathedral Edge, and then this year I wanted to go someplace different.
See, crop out that line, the blue line that's holding her onto the mountain there, and make it look really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I had a picture last year where they put both of their picks in the ice and they were just hanging there by the picks only.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun to go up there and watch them do it. They're quite talented.
Wow, that's awesome.
So Monique
almost have a great.
Monique says storytelling at its best with
Very true.
5 exclamation points.
Lisa, like you almost have what I would call like a great marketing shot for like a company too, because like with the way that the position of the person too, and like the equipment that they're wearing, it's almost like they could be using that as like a marketing ad kind of thing.
Yeah, I do have the name of the school. As I said, I did not get their names, but I do the name of the school that they were using in North Conway. I do have.
So I like the way you use the light here.
Mm-hmm.
like she's in sunlight, but she's
Yep.
surrounded in shadow, you know, from trees or whatever. So she's in this little pocket of light, and that works so well.
Yeah, it was, there definitely were no trees around her. The sun was off. There was a cliff, there's a rock cliff off to her left. And
Okay.
the sun was kind of around the corner of it. Yeah, it's,
The way that the light is what is what picked up, the ice coming off of her boots and stuff. And, just,
Yeah.
there's a lot of action going on here. And it's all a matter of how it was lit. Otherwise, if this was all shadow, that would probably get lost for the most part. But because
right.
it's
Yep.
catching specular highlights in the sun, it's working really nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, she
Is-
had just kicked her foot into that piece of ice.
Right, that's what
to,
it looks like, yeah.
Yep.
So the
You do
timing is
like-
good. The way it was lit is really well. I mean, it's just really nicely done.
Yeah, thank you. So it was
You
an
like
awesome
the-
day. I was up there for 6 hours. I just had so much fun. And it didn't really even matter how cold it was. And it was cold. I said, I looked at my phone, I got out of the car and I went, oh my God, it's -2. What the hell am I doing here?
Great
But
day
it-
for ice climbing.
Oh, yeah, it ended, I didn't wear my mittens half the day. I took my hat off. I mean, when you were in the sun, it was nice. In the wind, it was pretty protected from the wind too. But yeah, it was fun.
Very cool.
Great shot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's the only action shot of the group, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Where
Yeah,
you're bringing
it's
out more of the
really good.
blues. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, it's really cool.
Very
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, it is, it is fun, and they'll be up there for the next, they said probably 2 or 3 more weeks climbing. And it's really not, I mean, Jared, you've been up there, right, at the Frankenstein Trestle?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy walk in. You go to park at Arethusa Falls, and it's not even a mile in when you hit the first place where they're climbing, and you can actually stand on the trestle and watch them climb.
Yeah.
Off
No,
of-
I don't think I'd be standing on that trestle.
Oh,
looks-
that
That looks
that was-
scary. Yeah, but I
No.
have a fear of bridges.
no, that was actually the best part about going on the trip, was walking across that bridge. That bridge was so cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I have a fear of bridges. So yeah, no, it wouldn't be cool for me.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
I
I
could
will
see
be
you
going back
panicking
up
on
there.
that.
I will be going back up there to get the train at some point.
All right, that's our 5 minutes. Anything else for Lisa, guys?
Nice job, Lisa.
Oh, nice
Oh,
job.
Really great work. That's
Yeah.
a really cool photo.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, Deb Boulanger. That doesn't
All right.
hold at all.
So this is the blizzard. This was the second attempt that I dragged hubby out. The first time there wasn't a whole lot of snow, but when it was really, the wind was whipping so bad here. I mean, you can see it. Saw that black up in the left-hand side. I looked, it's like, oh my God, that can't be sensor spot. It's not, it's actually the snow where it was hitting my lens. It was so cold. I must have taken hundreds of shots just to find one where it kind of looked like it was still for a second.
Well, I know you love the snow, but there's something else that I see that I really like is the actual, you can see the little drifts in the snow and the texture
Yes.
in that snow, and
Yep.
that's really nice.
Yep, and it was the wind. I mean, that wind at this spot was, I got into the truck and it's like, oh my God, my hands hurt so bad. They were so cold, and I was only out there for maybe a little bit over 5 minutes.
Can I
I mean, it
recommend just doing this through a window?
No.
She's a
Where's this-
hardcore. She's out
Hey,
there.
my hands didn't hurt. I'm just saying.
Where's this barn?
Where's what?
Where's the barn?
It's over in Rollinsford. I've taken this scene many, many, many times. I live right next door to Rollinsford, so I would come over there, but honestly, I never really cared for anything else that I took.
good job. I really like this.
And then I debated on whether or not the fencing over to the left with the wires, it's like, do I want to take that out, maybe crop it closer? And I did that, and it's like, it just seemed, in my opinion, and I'll, take what feedback you guys have, but it almost looked like it just took away from something. I don't know.
No, the wires
great with the
they sort of
picture.
act as leading lines into the image.
I agree.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, but better with it, especially since you have other fence posts that you
Yep.
would then also have to take out.
I would say if I were to do any crop, might just pull it up from the bottom slightly.
There's a lot
and
of
remove
white
some
underneath
of
there,
that. Just a little bit of the bottom, bring it up closer to the rock wall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And somewhere, maybe a little bit lower, like right there, right there. So looks about right.
Then maybe bring in from the right over to kind of.
I like it where it is on the right personally.
think?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I-
have-
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't,
no, I
I
would-
like,
I wouldn't
have a lot
crowd
of
it too much on
horizontal
the
lines
barn.
going on here. I think that the, sort of not, it's not fully panoramic crop, but, more of like a 16:9, just close to where we're at here.
Mhm.
All of those,
I think if
all those horizontal lines just work with the long crop like this. It's nice,
Mhm.
I think.
I think if you cropped it in from the right, you're gonna really crowd that right corner with that right side with the barn, which is not what I don't think you intended to do. So
Yep. The other thing too is over on the left, you see how gray it is? I kept looking at it, I was like, just doesn't look right. But you know what? In all honesty, the sky was gray.
Yeah, it's full of snow.
Because I think I started to get to a point where I was starting to overanalyze it.
It's
I think
so-
it does
so
almost
far
like a
outside
vignette
of the
effect.
norm of what you look at. You don't look at
Mhm.
things like this very much.
Right. And you look at all those little spots, and that was actually the wind blowing so bad, and it was blowing into my lens.
Yeah, I think I would maybe
snow.
try and take out a couple of the bigger ones,
Yep.
knowing that
I
it's,
agree.
it's not sensor dust, but it's essentially lens dust in a way.
Yep.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't try and get rid of all of them. Just maybe some of the more noticeable ones.
The
like,
one, yeah, there's one,
this
a big
one.
one way up in the left.
um,
I didn't know if there was something that I could do to, I don't know. Sometimes I just think that I overanalyze it.
Well, I kind of like the darker side there because I think it helps bounce you back towards the image. It's almost like a vignette just in that one corner. If I think it was bright all the way through, then I would put a vignette on there, which would do the same effect that you're talking about that naturally occurred.
Yeah, I might just try and get rid of some of the bigger ones here, just to make it so it's less noticeable and it looks less like sensor dust.
Yep.
I agree.
But
But-
I mean, that's
And that's a
it's probably it right there. I wouldn't even worry about much more than that.
Yeah, no, I had to double check it. And as I was going down the images, like, you know what, the spots are all in different places. So I knew at that point it really was the snow. I knew my sensor wasn't that dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great scene. It tells a really cool story of just being out in the snow, and it's obviously snowing hard and the wind is blowing hard. Just like Jared said, you can see the drifts, and that only happens during essentially blizzard conditions. So yeah, it's really
those are
cool.
great texture. Great texture in the snow. I mean, you're not blown out by any means. It's a good white. Yeah, this is well done.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll get back out there on Friday.
You think you're gonna have a pretty good opportunity?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be quite as cold on Friday too.
No,
Yeah, it's
20s,
not
I think.
supposed to be.
Oh my God, that day was so cold.
Well, all right. Anything else for Deb?
Nice job, Deb.
Way to go. Nice work.
Very nice.
Nice job.
Nice job.
All right. Well, that's that then, guys. Hey, there's everybody. All right, cancel that. All right. Well, I don't know if that's record time or not, but it's 8:45. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is good.
So, all right, way to go, everyone. I wouldn't expect next month 8:45 if we're going to be doing story or the personal projects, 2 images each. So maybe we'll have to do 7 minutes instead of 5 or something. I don't know. Let's do it on the fly.
Maybe we could switch between the two of them, Sean, so that way you could talk about what you're doing for the story, like give like a little interlude to the two images, and then we can look at both of them.
Yeah, we'll figure something out so that we're not on we're not on a Zoom call until midnight.
I'll be in bed before that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, thank you as always, everyone. See you guys in a couple weeks at Speed Learning.
Mhm.
Remember to bring any topics that you want to try and cover. If you feel like you have topics that you're able to cover yourself and you want to take like a teaching station, let us know. That's not limited to people on leadership. So it'll be me, Jacob, Jared, Scott, Pat Corlin, if I can talk her into it. I think if she's home, she'll do it. She just bought a house in New Mexico. She's a second home now, so she's flying back and forth a lot. Tough life.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, and if you have any topics you want us to cover, you can let us know. But when you get there, for those who haven't done speed learning before, we'll have a board set up where you'll be able to just write the topics you want to cover on a Post-it note and put it up on the board. And then the people who have sort of teaching stations, for lack of a better term, will look at the topics that people have put up there, and we'll take the ones that we think we can cover the best to try. So that way we try and get the topics into different people's wheelhouses as much as possible. So bring your ideas to the meeting. We're all usually set up to, like I bring a monitor and a laptop and gear and stuff. So if you have questions about Lightroom or Photoshop or anything, like that's all stuff that can be covered. Hopefully, I don't know how many masters we have at Photoshop in this group, but so yeah. And Monique says, please offer to run a session.
And if there's anything special too for that you're looking at, like if you put all your ideas on there, we can plan accordingly, like have our computers, our cameras, and like if someone wants to talk about filters, if someone wants to talk about flashes, like we'll have that equipment there. So if you let us know in advance, it'll be a little bit easier for us to make sure we bring the right equipment and not too much or too little.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, I think that's all I got. As usual, if you have any questions, comments, Monique also says, so please offer to run a session. We would love to have you share what you love if you're an expert or what you're an expert at. Anyways, yeah, so if you she says, I miss you all with many exclamation points. Yeah, so if you have, if there is anything that you feel like you are quasi expert or whatever on, let us know and we'll try and get you on, we can make you, an instructor type teacher person. So I hesitate to actually call us teachers because we're probably not. So, but yeah, that's that. That's at RPAC. 2 weeks from tonight, I think it's March 9th. We'll start at 6:30. The bar will be open. Hope to see you guys there.
Hope to be there. If I'm not there, I might have the baby, so I'll try my best.
I suppose that's okay. If you can't make it because you have a baby or something, I guess that's fine.
Okay. Jared, you're having that baby on my birthday.
Oh, which day is that?
The 16th.
I'll question
the 16th. I thought you were the day before. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think Amanda wants it out tomorrow, but we'll see.
Unfortunately, they come when they want to.
Yes, they do.
So.
Jared, we'll look forward to getting notified and seeing photos.
Oh, don't you worry.
Oh, yes.
There'll be a picture put up on the GRCC group as soon as it happens.
Yep.
Oh, I bet. Awesome.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.